morning. Take one. So yeah, here we are at Mackenzie on the second day of the flower painting, mixed media flower painting, and kind of easing myself into the, like I was saying there, getting into the way of it. I find that sometimes with this pot I quite like to use a bit of collage for it. So I'm just wondering if that might be a place to start. And there's nothing bright and orange here, but I suppose I could do something. I might use the back of the board so I'm not getting it all over the floor. I thought what I could do is maybe put a bit of paint on. The painting over there in the corner has got lovely bright orange paint on it already. I could maybe tear a bit off the bottom of that. I'll show it to you in a second. Yeah. Okay. So, what I'm doing down there, just face it down altogether because it's a bit annoying. Okay, so, yeah. So I thought I would just prepare a bit of this in case that might be useful for me or for someone else who mightn't use it. But actually the simple act of getting down on the floor is kind of cathartic, I think, and makes you feel a little bit like, okay, so you're here to play and it has a kind of nursery school kind of vibe about it, I suppose. Oh, there's very little of that left. I think there's a full one over there as well, though. I hope. Oh, I lost the brightness, didn't I? It all just got stuck in it. It might be useful for something. I'll just leave it there for now. I could have done it, couldn't I, with the I could have done that with the ink from the beginning. With the fluorescent ink. Is there any left? I could just spread that out and hopefully I'm right now. Oh, for fuck's sake. It's just disappeared, isn't it? I don't want it to be bright. Oh, here we go again. Sometimes it works out that I do a thing and it's what I want it to look like in the demonstration. But then, alright. Maybe, yeah, it's all for a reason, isn't it? I'll put it in here. 2 hours later. Okay. I'm just going to, and I never set the alarm. Does anyone want to just set it for, say, 20 minutes? Like, and it's probably useful to me for me to look at it and just decide through looking what it is that I want to do here. You know, like I was saying yesterday, you'd be kind of taking your information from here, really, looking and responding to the colours and the... Thanks, Kathy. Did you set an alarm there? Looking at the colours and the kind of composition of the whole thing. And from where I am, it's spilling out that way. So I might start the pot over to the left then, you know? Yeah. Alright, yeah, I'm going to start the pot over to the left. I like the brushes to be dry and even all the way up to the metal bit for it to be dry, because sometimes you get a surprise flood from the, and these are cheap old brushes now, you know, but starting out, I quite like, well today anyway, I feel like doing kind of the pot with a kind of a cross-hatch dry brush thing maybe. Let's see now. It'll be about there. Just going to lift it a little bit higher. That's the size it's going to go, isn't it? Mm-hmm. The low ceiling is low, let's see. It's okay though. So this is actually cadmium red in the end for all we talk about the orange. Mm-hmm. I think it's about here. Yeah, you could stick a touch of the orange into it maybe. give them a hand. Just to add some, I think it does have a bit of a red-orange feel to that bit there. And I might end up putting some of the collage maybe on the table. Let's see now. Maybe use a bit of this. Just going to annoy me with that thing. I like the look of that on the tabletop. And it reads to me as though the tabletop is that little bit lighter, alright, isn't it, than the pot, I think. And sometimes you can kind of, go with something not being in any way leaving yourself work to do, to connect it together somehow, and it makes you, I think, be a bit more adventurous possibly when you have to find a way. Like I'm thinking an oil pastel line might connect that, or maybe I could just use that colour with the roller. And then if I'm not happy with how it's almost like you can do it without looking. You just do something and get the brush ready for the next move, and then turn back and it's kind of, I think there's something about abandoning the mark a little bit too, and just I don't know really. Yeah. I think they said about Leonardo that he abandoned his paintings. He didn't finish them, he just abandoned them. And I kind of like that idea that you might do that with every mark. You just fuck it, try that, and then see, when you look back at it, is there something happening here? And if there isn't, how can I make something else? So I'll just let that go, let that dry a little bit. I might use the wet brush. I should have said to you really, I would recommend these brushes. I think they're a good set, and there's a middle-sized one. I think most of you have something like them. The thin ones, I know I said about the household brush, but I actually find that maybe a little bit thick. It's quite hard to dry it off enough. I mean, you could use it, but I think the 2-inch version, I've lost mine. 2-inch version of that is one that you could do the whole painting. At least I like to use these brushes for this way of working. Kind of. I see some people using the foam ones as well, and the way you use the palette knife is really exciting. Okay, because I think there's something about bringing a bit of variety to the mark and keeping yourself interested. What I'm trying to do there was lift off enough of the paint, but it's creating the shape that I'm seeing in the job, and that's in the vase on that side. Maybe take that 2 minutes dried in, isn't it? But if I rub it enough, I can lift off something that might resemble the shape of the daisy over the white jug there. Position of that, roughly. Knowing that approximate is fine for now. And that I feel like the important thing is to remain inspired yourself rather than to nail everything. Keep yourself excited about it in your belly. So just I am at the same time trying to find the position of it a bit, and then thinking about the next thing. So I think it was David Hockley again who said, I'm already planning my next move as I'm laying down this one. So there's no lingering over the mark making. It's more about like the forward momentum of, oh look at those lovely eucalyptus hanging down there, and how can I find the colour that will make that spray happen? And the dark, I think I'll go for the dark above that kind of dark greeny colour that I'm seeing. Well, why don't I just use that pleasantly? It's the dark green that I'm seeing just above the pot there. But I think I want to make it with paint because it'll be flatter. And I think the darks are best represented with flat surfaces, flat paint. and collage, even if it's really thin, sometimes has a feeling of it standing out in relief. So I won't stand on that. Where did I put that? Yeah. So this is my ultramarine blue. I find that the ultramarine blue and the Van Dyke brown, you know, I just call this what it is, it's burnt umber, but it looks to me like Van Dyke brown in the Galleria. That's not Galleria. Anyway, whatever it is. It's the same as the Van Dyke brown that I have, but it's called burnt umber here. Any dark brown, I think, works with the ultramarine blue to cancel it out enough to make a kind of a black or a Payne's grey-like colour. So I'm going to do that. Yeah, because I want to now bring in some of the, if I were to half close my eyes, which I recommend, I'm going to bring in some of that dark down to cover the, just to clarify and create some order for myself above the pot now. And I want to put some Hooker's green in there as well, I think. No, I'm just going to tell you the truth here. This isn't Hooker's green. I don't know what it is, but it's a dark green. There's a pot of Hooker's green over there, and I'm not going over. I thought I had everything got, and I'm just going to stay here now, unless this is really not working for me. It's a kind of a blue green, and I can't read it. Could you read that? Is it Tala green or something? Yeah, me too. And also maybe a Brillo pad to scrub off the paint off it. You see, it's very green, isn't it?
Yes, it's
Really red with that.
It's Viridian, I think.
Viridian.
Is it Viridian?
Viridian.
I think it looks like it.
It's unpronounceable. Oh, cycling green. Little cycling green in English, but in French it's vert, something unpronounceable. In Italian it's Verdi Italo.
Oh, Italian
green.
green. Italian green.
Okay, Italian green, especially for you, Norma. So what is it? I'd have been quicker getting the hookers, wouldn't I? That over here. You've got it there. I'll just steal it. Okay. So what I ended up doing actually, because it is a bit blue-green, I just put some cadmium red with it. I don't know what I'm making. It's black. It's dark anyway. Let's see. It might be too dark. But just to kind of, in case that is true, I'll put some sap green out because that's a nice counter to the dark. Do you know, I find some covers are so hard to put back on. I like the big ones. Jeez, it's like that Grumpy Old Men program, isn't it? There's something wrong the whole time. I suppose, in a way, it's good to bring that, isn't it? That like, fuck it, just get on with your painting. Like, it doesn't matter. And then I think there's like, this is okay. It's like, if my space, I can do whatever I want here. I mean, thanks for being here. Like, thanks for joining in. Just a complete narcissist. I know, not really. Okay. What a shame. Don't encourage me, like. Okay, so we've got the 3 daisies here, so I'm kind of finding a space, like there's a triangular openness here between those daisies, and you can see the blue-green, the Italian, coming through there, the flicker. I don't know. It's kind of exciting when things, you know, when something comes that you're not expecting, that causes you to like go, oh, now I'm going to have to deal with this a little bit, and it might. And it might be okay. It might be that it's not at all there, but actually I like it. You know, that kind of character of it. When it starts to go dry brush and I want to spread it faster, then I would put a touch of water in because it irritates me if like I'm wanting to cover a lot of ground and it's stalling because there's not enough water in it to move it. So to me it reads as though there's that business there. Got the two, the yellow daisy and the white one. Helen, tell me the truth, are they called daisies? What are they called? I call them daisies. Are they chrysanthemums? Are they as well? Okay.
They're spray chrysanthemums, but yeah, they are
Spray
a type
chrysanthemums.
of daisy.
Oh, okay. And there's a yellow one there. I mean, there's an opportunity here, of course, to use some stencils as well, possibly, but I don't want to stop myself. Sometimes when you've got I just want to kind of keep going for a little while before I start to do something that means I have to walk over there across the room to get them. Isn't that laziness? I don't know. I think actually a lot of this has got to do with wanting to take the shortest, simplest route to getting the thing. I think that's often a really good to keep in your head. You know, what's the simplest way I can characterize what I'm seeing here on here? What's the simplest way to transfer that information in a way that feels satisfying to me? So this is what I'd be doing. If the brush was bigger, I'd be getting there faster. Let's see, we might try this brush again. The 3-inch one. It's red now.
The really interesting thing is that the answer to that fastest way to get what you want is different every time you do it. You're, you're,
It's never
you're not making an
roche.
you're not making an equation that comes out with the same answer all the time. You're actually making a different equation because you feel different. The subject's different.
The light is different,
light's
the day is
different,
different, the people are different, and every part of it is fresh and new, and it calls for freshness in your response then. So that's a good equation, yeah.
Because you would think that you should come up with the same answer every time, but you don't.
When you have the policy of doing something in a simple way.
If you've looked for the simplest, quickest way to do it, that should be the answer all the time, and it's not.
No, that's it. You kind of need to be on the ball, like think on the. But I think people like Rembrandt did have summarizing ways to describe, for example, a tree or something. You know, they had kind of some things that were their particular way of breaking it down. Now I'm just going to make some of that eucalyptus green, because I can see that's kind of hanging down there a bit. And personally, I quite like leaving like doing the general movement of the thing, knowing that there's the possibility of carving in later with the negative spaces, or you know, you can address the detail and the edges later on. But I think the general movement is the important thing originally, and the kind of like the juxtaposition of those eucalyptus leaves. Am I turning my back to you?
No, you're fine, don't worry.
And the juxtaposition of those leaves has a very different kind of a feel to, say, the bulbous. I'm not really getting that, but you know, there's something sort of slightly disc shaped about that green. And then this just feels important to kind of go that way. And this is just, I feel it needs to be anchoring a dark in there. So there's different kind of marks happening according to the feeling I'm getting from the foliage. Oh, that was nice alliteration, wasn't it? Feeling from the foliage. Okay. Now, and I think I will go for a walk over here and get the stencils. Is your alarm going to go off any second now, Kathy?
No,
All right.
4 minutes.
Oh, Jesus. It's a bit of a balance. Like I want to have some bit of something happening, and also for you to have, you know, I suppose I want to feel some success in what I'm doing, but also that there's a kind of some inspiration gathered through it, and then that you have enough time as well to get on with your own stuff. I think those are quite good for the little feverfew style daisies there, you know, they're snowdrops, like actually, but it's a good stencil for that. We'll try that out. I think it's this one again, isn't it? Might be handy. What's on here now? A bit more blue. Okay, so we've got the ultramarine blue coming in. Really, that's eucalyptus colour, but I don't know why I just want to do it. I want to do that there somehow. Maybe turn it. Like when I was at home in the living room during lockdown, I painted a lot of flowers, and I found that I wanted them to extend beyond the page. So there would very often be things like that, or that, you know, there'd be a flower stuck out the edge of it. Because I think there's something about, like, it's not just where you hit the page, is it? there's something more contained in the mark that wants to extend itself, I think. But especially when you're looking at something like flowers, I feel like they've got this aliveness all their own, like even when they're shot put. Okay. And then we've got, yeah, I think I want to just use that a little bit. And then we've got more eucalyptus down there. Well, not okay. So that, I don't know. Where's the eucalyptus? Down here. So I thought that brush was kind of good for the eucalyptus actually. For the shaping of it at least, and then later on, you know, being, it being possible to go back in. I did have an extra shot in the coffee this morning actually. I could explain things, couldn't I? Just kicking in now, like I don't know. We'll be exhausted. Alright, so I know it's not precisely this colour, but there's something pleasing about that, going in that direction, going in the direction of the bluish kind of, I suppose maybe orange and blue are opposite on the colour wheel, and so kind of when there's so much red orange, I maybe feel like putting some green blue. All right, and then there's a few bits of that could appear elsewhere too. And I think even the darks are put on quite thinly, so it's possible to, like, it doesn't feel as though it's a huge thing that I can't retrieve things from. And just to say, just to do, just a second there, because yesterday we were talking about the daffodils having to go over, remember with Fiona, it was quite hard to get the yellow over the green, and I just want to do, I just want to put out some point and explain how I might bridge and how I might explain the daisy that's here. No, I could have paint. Put up way too much. I could have paint grey kind of in it really, so I can just make a bit of paint grey with the ultramarine blue and the Van Dyke brown or timber. Because I think sometimes we see daisies as being really bright, and in actual fact, it might just be a couple of the petals at the top of this one that are really catching the light. Maybe one in this one here that I was hoping to explain across the green. To me looks like it's not quite catching the light. Yeah, thanks, Kathy. Are you all okay with me doing another little while? Is that okay? Helen, you've been, yeah.
Well, maybe let those people in at the door. I think maybe
Oh,
the
is it
doors.
locked again?
No,
It
they're
seems
hanging
to
a
be.
book, so
You're right. Thanks.
caught my eye.
Yeah, I think it locks itself at the wind or something. Okay, so really, really dry brush. I have some titanium white. I'm saying a really dry brush because if it's fluid, it's going to not be so opaque. But maybe I don't want it to be quite as bright, so I'm just going to use some of the blue-brown mix to make kind of a grey colour. And it's kind of almost for the confidence of knowing that you can go really dark, because it's possible to paint over it with an opaque colour that is as bright as the petals of the daisy. And of course I could be looking at the daisy and see the colour that I'm seeking. I might have a bit of that Italian green in that actually. See the colour I'm seeking as I'm making it. Okay. And then once I've found a colour that I'm happy with, so the daisy was just above the palette there, so I could really test the colour that I was seeking. And then I'll do that thing of maybe scooping it up at the edge. And I've got some of those brushes if you don't have them to try them out. And then just laying down the shape of the petal across the dry, loose dry, across the dry dark. And I guess here is where I get a bit of kind of particular, you know how it completely covers it really. And it might look a little bit odd at this stage to have something so completely opaque and you know, getting into that detail, but I just wanted to say that if you do have something that dark on either side of a daisy, it's possible to paint the daisy over the top of it, and for it to have oomph again. And I find with daisies that putting the centre chrysanthemums, I'm saying daisies the whole thing, putting the centre into them and it makes it read. I'll just put a touch of, I think it's ultramarine blue into the sap green to create that centre, but when you locate the centre of the daisy, the chrysanthemum, I'll just say whatever, then you go quite a long way, I think, and even if, you might start to carve the petals of the daisy that are in shadow by painting more of the dark up to meet them before doing any more of the light, So just looking at where the dark green meets the daisies. And if you're feeling fierce and patient altogether, you could just get the white oil pastel. I did bring it over. I just used my fingernails. I just noticed, like, as I was bringing the darks in to meet the daisy, that some of the dark needed to be covered. You just see, yeah. That's fine. You get what I mean? So you can kind of push and pull. I thought I brought it over. It doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah, so that's a kind of a mid-tone really, and I would kind of find a little bit of the dark orange to come up to meet it too. Maybe just use the red in the ground there to explain what I mean here, but there's ways that you can allow the thing to overlap what's gone before by painting it dark up to meet it, so that suddenly it's beginning to have substance, So, and there's other ways, of course, with torn paper collage, or, as I say, the oil pastel. There's even some, white ink that you might use. But it's exciting, this kind of carry on, and I hope now that that what happens for you is that that you kind of find your way in, find something that excites you in your belly, and then off you go. Maybe have a few things gathered. I know it looks like chaos, but I did have a bit of a plan here, and so I had a few things that were kind of ready. There's even, just see if that fluorescent orange, like you might find that it might explain something. No, it's not really suitable for that, for God's sake. But maybe the gerbera, where the light is falling on them, it might be that the fluorescent paint is what will really make them pop at the end, in the same way as the fluorescent ink might. See if I can find more of the red one. So it's good, and it's kind of nice to be working with oranges, reds, and I find anyway, I think it gives you a bit of, yay. Okay, well done. Thanks very much for your attention. And thank you too, and all the very best.